And now a Mexico moment with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday's Eve, fuckers. It's another Mexico moment with Nate and Alexis. I'm your host, Nate, and this is my wife, Alexis.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
And obviously it is Thursday. We normally do our episode on Friday.
Yeah, we'll change up this week.
Yeah, so obviously if you are a premium 2%er and you know that we are kind of taking our show on the road and going over to YouTube.
Come on down to YouTube town.
So since we're trying to make the change by the end of the month, so we thought we'd do ours this week here on Spotify. But if you do want to keep listening, you can find us on YouTube, and it'll be on. It's actually the channel that we started that we never put anything on.
Great.
It's on YouTube. It's Hansons on Hiatus, and it's Hansons on Hiatus. Yep. And we started this YouTube channel because when we moved to Mexico, we thought we'd kind of do this like YouTube travel channel.
Yeah.
And when we got here, and then I started doing the podcast with Jason, and then we, I don't know, just kind of didn't have time.
Yeah,
really.
I got busy, and then
so it was easier to just do like kind of Instagram videos. Yeah. So it was easier to do that. So we're like, okay, we'll do this. So we kind of just left it dormant and never really did anything with it. So I'm going to go back and edit all of our previous episodes because we have the video for everything, for all of our episodes, I'm pretty sure, hopefully. But so I'm going to go back and re-edit them, and then I'm going to throw them all up on YouTube. So they'll all be there, all the video episodes. Nice. And then so next Friday, we'll just continue on and have our podcast there. So, and we're going to continue to try to do it weekly Friday. So we'll just do one a week. Like I said, we just didn't feel comfortable not putting a bunch of shows out and making the content worth everyone's while. Right. So that's why we're just moving ours over to YouTube. And I think Brandon's already been on YouTube for like 20 years.
For sure. And then ours can be not just Mexico, travels, all our travels.
Yeah, and that's what we've been doing the last few episodes, talking about my Europe travels. This episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about our U.S. family world tour, international tour.
We always take lots of notes when we travel, so we have lots of weird tips and tricks, and I think it helps. And we like to pass them on to our friends. Yeah,
we're just telling little weird stories or things that happen to us.
Something always happens, or we always see something, or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. First, I know we were doing some of these episodes there, so we talked a little bit about things that we did. Yeah. But we flew from Cozumel up to Pittsburgh. Yep. And we stayed there for a few days with your family. Yep. And what did we do in Pittsburgh? We did Kennywood.
You did Kennywood for your first time. It's like if you don't know Kennywood, it's like kind of an older amusement park. But it's like wooden roller coasters, and we grew up, going to that in the summer. So it was fun to see you there, and lots of roller coasters.
I had the same thing in Des Moines, Iowa, and it was called Adventureland, but it was the same deal. It's just like a smaller, amusement park that wasn't like a Disney or something like that. So, so we'd go there. What was the weirdest ride, or like not the weirdest, sorry, the scariest ride, or the one you didn't like to go on at Kennywood?
I never liked anything that was too spinny, like that spins you around in a circle.
Yeah.
But I think like the really big, at the time it was the Steel Phantom. That was a roller coaster. Oh, yeah. It was like the first one that came out, and it was so quiet. It was creepy, it just like goes by so smooth. Everyone was scared to go on that, and we'd always get on like, I want to do it, but I'm so scared.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I remember we had, I think we were just talking about this the other day. It was, I don't know what everybody else calls them, but at least the name of the ride in the Midwestern state of Iowa was the Silly Silo.
Oh, I love that.
And it's like that.
Silly Silo.
It's that ride that spins in a circle.
Yeah. It like holds you up against the wall.
Yeah, like the centrifugal force of it like holds you against the wall. So I used to go on it when I was a kid. I don't know why, because you always feel terrible afterwards.
Terrible. It just like shakes you up and makes you feel weird.
Yeah. But then one time you can watch everybody from above. So like there's a little railing above and you can watch everyone do it.
Screaming.
And I remember one time somebody threw up and it splattered on everybody. And so I was like, fuck that shit.
Oh my God. No.
Oh shoot! So,
thanks.
So that wasn't like a scary ride. Just one you didn't really want to go on if you don't want to get puke on yourself.
Yeah,
on your shirt.
That's why I don't like the spinny ride. See, get puked on.
But what was the other? Oh, we saw, it wasn't a spinny ride, but it was the sky ride. Remember when we did the sky ride at the Iowa State Fair?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and there's this,
this.
We were getting ready to get on, and the ride stops, and we're like, what the fuck's going on? And we look over, and there's this big old lady just laying face down on the ground.
Poor thing.
Yeah.
She fell flat on her face.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a ski lift without the skis.
Got to move.
Yeah, so once you stand up, you gotta get the fuck out of the way.
You gotta move.
But this lady was just laying face down on the ground, and I think she was on her cell phone to her lawyer before she even stood up.
She might still be there.
Yeah, she may. And also, while we were at the Iowa State Fair, we saw we went to the art kind of section. Remember we looked at all the different paintings,
a bunch of buildings that have like photography and paintings,
sculptures, things like that.
Lots
But the cutest thing that we saw there, though, there was this painting, or it was like a mixed media piece of art.
Yeah.
But there was this little old lady. It looked like a little like farmer's wife, little short, Q-tip looking hair.
She was talking to us at a couple of the pieces.
Yeah, and then she's sitting there and she's looking at this one thing and she goes, "Oh my God, I won! I won! I got a ribbon!" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "I didn't even know they accepted my piece of art, but it won second place in like the mixed media."
There it is.
Yeah, so she was so proud. It was just funny to see that she like didn't even know that she'd even been accepted into the contest.
She was so cute. She was so happy.
Oh yeah, that was good.
She's
But
like,
one of the other things we saw at the fair, not as cute. The 3 pregnant chicks drinking.
Yeah, 2 or 3. Yeah, eating big old pickles.
Yeah. And
was smoking?
One was smoking a vape pen. Another one was smoking cigarettes.
Oh, was it a vape pen? Oh yeah, a cigarette. I saw the one with the cigarette.
Yeah.
And pretty sure they were pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she did have a shirt that said, what was it? Proud Mama?
Grateful Mama.
Or yeah, Grateful Mama.
But they were the girls, like, they were tall and they all kind of were slender. But you could tell they're pregnant. It was like a baby tummy.
What do? You can't say something, right?
None of my business.
That's what I feel like as well. But also, aren't you supposed to look out for?
I don't know. They have
others. General health.
Poor baby. I mean, they had all those people around. It looked like their family. No, not getting involved.
Yeah, she was definitely drinking a beer. They all had the same color of drink.
Same cup. No one else had a problem, so I'm just gonna go about my day at the fair.
Yep. And what else did we do? Oh, when we went down to Tampa, and that was supposed to be, well, initially we were going up to see both of your yayas in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
And then one had passed before we got up there.
Yaya Desi, rest in peace, Yaya Desi, Manius.
And so then we went down to Tampa. I think we were planning on going there anyway to see your family.
Yeah, but this was kind of a little expedited.
Yeah, because they were cleaning stuff out of her condo that she's had in Clearwater for, how long have they lived there?
I mean, they've been there maybe 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and they moved down there to retire from Pittsburgh, right?
Right, yeah. They moved everything down, brought the car down on like the train. They used to do that.
Shit.
They used to ride the train up and down.
Oh, yeah, my cousins are doing that.
Yeah, remember I told you? I can't believe they used to do that, but it was cheaper. Bring the car down.
That's wild.
And I mean, Papa died in like 2008, and now,
Oh, yeah, so we had to clean some. It was cool, though, cleaning the stuff out.
It was cool to see
Sad,
pictures.
but also very cool to see the old pictures and the things that she had.
Pictures, I got to keep one of her, like her wedding crown that held her veil. The veil's like disintegrated, but her looks like a little princess crown. And we got some cool geodes and pictures and stuff. What else did we get? A lot of stuff we didn't need. Also, but
but you feel like you want to take it because it's your relative.
I don't want it to go anywhere, just be donated. So it reminds me of my yaya, my papa.
It really opens you. Well, first of all, it's very sad how much stuff you like collect in your life. Not like excessive clutter or anything, but just like your possessions, and it's just divided up. It's given to Goodwill or given to somebody else or donated or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy that how many people have to do that every day.
Yeah.
You don't think about it.
And let me tell you what, so we went to we thought something was donated that probably shouldn't have been, or a couple of things maybe that we wanted to keep. Nothing expensive or worth money, just, something stupid and little. So we went out to the St. Petersburg, main
Oh my God.
center for Goodwill.
It's like the distribution center. So it's where you take everything and then they sort it and it goes to other places.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's huge. They have this whole long building, this retail section. They have a business section. Everything's divided up in certain things. And then there's this one main donation room where you're not allowed in there. I tried to go in there. And then there's another main room where they have all these buckets and stuffs in there. They just, I don't know. I don't want to donate anything anymore because it was just getting broken left and right. I mean, there were people like stationed there to dig through the new buckets of stuff to actually like find something of value, you know, to like sell. So I'm just like wandering through looking for these little kind of glass pieces of whatever, and it was just very traumatizing.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
You cut your hand too, right?
I cut my thumb. But why would you put like, they're putting like these big tubs out, these big buckets full of like porcelain dishes and things, and then Christmas stuff or like stuffed animals. Of course it's going to get broken. People are like flipping everything everywhere. It was a madhouse in there.
There's probably so much like
much stuff.
Things that are actually worth money that just get tossed out or broken.
Yeah. I saw tons of stuff.
That's what we were talking about. We're like, you always hear those stories like, oh, somebody found a Picasso at a yard sale or something. We're like, how the fuck does that happen?
Yeah, I had a Picasso under her bed.
But that's how it happens. People just get rid of it and, it's somebody else's. That's one of the things that I've actually learned the most from, dealing with this situation is like saying who gets what or kind of asking people ahead of time. That's what my grandma has actually been doing. Is like, oh, you want this? Like I got some like beer mug or beer stein from my grandpa that he had in Germany or something like that. Yeah, and she gave that to me now, knowing like, oh, this is probably what he'll want. So yeah, you don't get to the end of your life, and then whoever is running your will has to like distribute everything,
or they don't know. Like, my guy always said, let me know I'm gonna die someday, and you're like, yeah, like don't say that, but pick out what you want, or let me know what you want. And you never want to go, well, I want this and this and this, because as a kid you feel like rude, like I don't want anything from you, and I don't want anything like of value. I want like the things I picked were like super cheap or just sentimental value pretty much.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's like, how do you go through someone's entire life?
I know, it's crazy. It was just you have to just create. My aunt and uncle and my dad and pretty much went through everything, and there's just so much stuff that isn't important. She's living there every day, eating 3 meals a day, snacks and stuff. So there's just like random things around, just like living your life that they had to go through also, get rid of all that stuff. So
yeah, no, I think about that. Even just going like when I'm going through one of my drawers, I'm like, oh, this drawer has a lot of stuff in it. And I think like maybe it's morbid, but I'll think about like in the future, somebody's gonna have to go through these drawers, so I better get this shit in order.
It's gonna be me.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna have to go through it. Get your shit in order, buddy.
I don't know. But it was fun after we went out to a Greek restaurant in Clearwater in Tarpon Springs to kind of celebrate your yaya. Remember we went out and had some drinks afterwards, and we brought her necklaces or like her costume jewelry.
Yeah, my aunt gave me this big box of like. Well, in the beginning of the day, she gave me bags of like jewelry, costume jewelry to go through. And then at dinner, she hands me this big, heavy box, and it's all these big, like, gaudy necklaces and pearls and, all these kind of like chunky grandma necklaces. She's like, here you go. So I have them. We're going out to the bar to meet my best friend, and we just start dishing them out to people. There was like a little girl. She was so cute. We're putting necklaces on her, and then we put one on you, and we're putting them on all the people and like giving them out and all taking pictures. It was so fun. It was like a nice way to.
Yeah. And then the creepy guy with the monkey took the rest of them.
There was a creepy guy with a stuffed monkey, and my best friend was like, just give it. I was like, just give it to him. Just give him the box. And he was so appreciative. He was like, I will hand these out when I go read to children or something like that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was weird. Another thing we talked about with your brother and his girlfriend, I wanted to get your take on this. She was asking your brother's girlfriend was asking your brother if it's weird to go and ask somebody for the peaches on their tree that's in their yard.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was.
What do you think?
Nowadays, I don't know if you want to knock on your neighbor's door in Florida and ask a question, but I would wait to see them. I would be like outside. I know they don't live that close together, but close enough to be like out, try and mow the lawn, or maybe don't stalk them, but get their schedule. Or I'd even send them a card or put something on their doorstep, like a little treat or something. Like, hey, I just want to know if you want to trade peaches. But if one falls over on my side of the yard, I'm probably just gonna take it.
Well, they weren't even like neighbors. They're just in their neighborhood.
Oh, gotcha. I thought they were like directly.
No,
next
I don't
to
think they even know them. And that's what I think my line would be drawn is.
Yeah.
I think if you know, like, you know your neighbors, but you don't know your neighbors, like you don't hang out with them. I think if you're like kind of, waving neighbors, then you could go and ask.
Yeah.
If they weren't, I don't think you couldn't. Like 9 times out of 10, if you go and ask, they're probably gonna be like, yeah, sure, whatever. But I personally wouldn't feel comfortable just going up to a stranger's house and asking if I had the fruit out of their yard.
Yeah. I mean, I think we were discussing like maybe give them some money or like offer money. Hey, can I see you have a lot of peaches and they're probably going to go bad before you can, eat them. Can I give you like $5-10 for some peaches? Probably cheaper than going to Publix.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. If you didn't know them, offer them a little bit of money and they might be like, who cares? Just take them.
Yeah, especially if you look and if you see a bunch on the ground, that's a tell. I'd go up there and be like, looks like you have, more than you need. Can I take some?
Yeah.
I'll bring you some pie or cookies.
Oh, another story. I've been hit by a car almost twice in the last 2 weeks on a bike and walking.
Yes. Be careful. Always look both ways and then look again.
Yeah. So I was in Ankeny, Iowa I was biking back from going on a bike ride with some of my high school buddies.
Biking.
And
nice Sunday morning.
Yep.
Saturday morning.
And I was coming down the sidewalk and there was, like sides, they're like residential streets. So people are stopping like at the stop sign and I'm crossing the street or whatever.
Yeah.
This dude, I was crossing the street and I was right in the middle of the road waiting. This guy was about to turn right. I think he was looking left. He starts going and I like kind of do a little boop and do a move. Yeah, I do a little, God, I can't remember what that move is. What's that move when you used to like do like, yeah, maybe is it a fishtail?
Maybe, yeah. I think so.
Sounds good.
Sounds right.
Yeah, we're going to say it. So I do a little fishtail move. Boop, boop, boop. I'm swimming. Shoot, shoot, shoot. So I like kicked the little tire around and I just barely missed it. And like I think I put my hand on his, on the hood of his car
like
also.
A bike in here, yes.
Yeah.
Oldie.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey.
Get out of my way. Hey, I don't know why the Fonz is biking.
That's like the New York taxi. Like, hey, I'm walking here.
Hey, I'm riding my bike in my little shorts here. Hey.
Exactly.
Oh shoot. No, but so that happened. I got away.
So that happened.
Yeah, I survived. The great biking accident of 2023.
Oh gosh.
And then
you come in and you like your parents are there and you're like, I almost got hit by a car, and they're like, Jesus, Nate. I'm like, don't say that in front of your parents.
I didn't do anything wrong though. The guy like
I know, but things you
stopped.
just don't say in front of your mom. You're gonna give her a heart attack.
And then here a couple days ago we have our friends Andrea and Ale, Ale Sharpton in town.
Mrs. Sharpton.
Yep, that's right. And they were where were you? I don't know where you were. It was us three. It was me, Andrea, and Ale, and we were walking.
I was working.
Oh yeah, we were walking around town. So we're walking back, same deal. Instead of a bike, we're on foot, and there's a truck parked parked, but it stopped at the stop sign, and he looked right at me. I swear. That's why I continued to walk. Started walking. I'm in the middle of the street again, and he starts pulling out.
Oh my
and
God.
I was like, boom, put my hand on the hood, and it's like sliding my shoes.
What?
And then I'm like starting to run to get away from it because he's turning right, and then I look back and Ale's running like straight out into the middle of the street because he's trying to get away from him too. And then he puts up his hands. He's like, he kind of like had this motion like, get the fuck out of the way.
What the fuck? How old was he?
He was old.
Okay.
Yeah, he looked like a Keebler elf.
Didn't see you.
Yeah.
Didn't see you till now, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, but survived 2 car attacks in the last couple weeks.
I always think about what the other person thinks on their end. Like, they're probably just oblivious. Like, that guy came out of nowhere. He was trying to, like, do a cartwheel on my car. Like, no, sir, I'm driving here.
Dude, if that happened to me, I would be like, just
feel bad.
Yeah, I'd feel really worried I'm going to get in trouble or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I would be like, are you okay? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He's like, it's your fault. Get out of my way.
Exactly.
Walking.
You had a story in the Des Moines airport bathroom. You were telling me.
That was fun. Yeah, this made me think of a Seinfeld episode going between, before we get on our next flight in the bathroom, and I hear this nice lady go, hey, excuse me, can you spare a couple squares or something like that? It's like,
oh no, that's not how you told me initially. You said that she asked for some toilet paper, and you said something like, oh, do you need me to spare some squares? Or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like
Well,
that?
she was like, hey, do you have any spare toilet paper or something in there? And I was like, do you need a couple squares or something? She's like, yeah, I need a couple squares.
That's so funny. I didn't know that happened in real life.
It does. Yeah. I gave her a whole big roll, a whole big, a big wad of it just in case. I was like, let me know if you need more. I got you.
All right. Well, before we get out of here, I'm going to leave you guys. Well, let's discuss. This is kind of like one question with Brandon, but it's just a high kind of thought / question that I had.
That could be a new thing for us. High thoughts.
Yeah, probably.
High thoughts and discuss.
Yeah. This is one I was thinking of because I don't know, something about hearing. Maybe I was watching a movie with some old guy or something, but it's weird how your hearing goes like kind of not disintegrates, declines.
Yeah.
And your vision declines, but your taste doesn't decline. And before y'all get on me, I don't mean that your taste, like, does your taste change as you get older? For sure. I like things now that I did not like when I was younger.
Sure.
So it definitely changes. But your hearing eventually goes till you can't hear anything, and your sight eventually goes till you can't see anything. Why doesn't your taste go till you're like, I mean, are there 110-year-old people and they're just like, it just tastes like sandpaper. I can't taste anything.
I think so. I think you see, like, I used to work at a old folks home, like a live-in facility type of thing, or assisted living. And I remember them saying, like, everything tastes the same or tastes like crap or, it just doesn't taste good. And maybe the food wasn't.
Or they're
the
just
best.
old and cranky and they're eating at an old folks home.
True. But I mean, maybe it does for some people.
I don't know. But have you ever talked to like your mom or your grandma or anybody that said like they can't, like, oh, I just can't taste anymore. It's not like I just can't hear anything anymore.
You're like, oh, grandma, you're old. You can't taste.
Yeah. Or is that why you like more things that you didn't like as a kid because your taste is less sensitive?
Maybe.
I don't mind eating some vegetables that I didn't really like when I was younger because maybe it's less sensitive. But it never gets to that point where you're like real old and they're like, oh yeah, just can't taste anything. I got COVID again.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, you don't
like that. That's what I'm saying. Like when we got COVID and we could not taste.
True.
Like, does that ever happen to anybody?
Maybe unless you
it's not
have
common,
like if you have a permanent like sinus kind of issue.
Yeah, but that's not like a normal getting old thing.
Right. I mean, you could get it if you get old, and then there you go.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, that is it for this week. Remember, next episode will be. I don't know what's going on with my mic. I gotta fix that.
It makes you want to be deeper.
Hey, baby.
I know it really wants to do the voice change.
Yeah, but remember, next episode will be on YouTube. You can find us Hansons on Hiatus, or you can follow me at DigiDudeNate or on Facebook or on Instagram, and you can message me there if you can't find it for some reason. Yep. Follow the Clueless 2 on YouTube as well. I believe they're just the Clueless 2. But yeah, so thank you so much for all your support, for subscribing and paying attention and listening to us and following us. We super appreciate it.
Thanks
we love you guys.
To our silly stories.
And please, if you are coming to Mexico, let me know. I'm always trying to meet up with people. Sometimes it works out depending on where you are. Sometimes it doesn't. But
hit us up for sure. We'll make it work.
Yep. So before we get out of here, Lex, you got anything?
Nope. See you on the YouTubes.
All right. Happy day before Friday, fuckers.
Happy day before Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.